So this scientist from NASA said that they did some image in outer space about these upcoming aliens. These aliens coming to our planet Earth in November. And he said, because someone asked him what did they look like, and he said they look 7 feet, they're tall, and that they're African American species. What? Oh my God! What? I mean, my type of guy, tall, African American. Shoot, my soulmate is on that ship. Bring him, please, hurry up. I like, long walks on the beach. I love hiking. I can cook, I can bake. I love to dance. I can speak, French and English. Man, for real, for them to be tall and African American. Like I said, my soulmate is on that ship, and hurry up. They're gonna come before Christmas time? Oh my goodness. Early Christmas gift to me. But yeah, guys, what do y'all think? Oh my God.
There is one laser that shows black people getting off.
So people with dark skin getting off?
Not dark, black.
Black skin?
Really black. Yeah.
Were they tall?
Yes.
Very tall?
Yeah.
How tall? Do you know?
Well, they got out the doorway. I don't know how high that is, but
well, what?
They say 7 feet would be probably a conservative estimate.
Huge cigar-shaped ship appeared over the Air Force Base. These cigar-shaped ships were over a mile in length. One of them landed on the airport landing strip area. The back of this craft opened up, and several hundred young men with huge, heavy weapons came out of two sides of the ship and formed a protection line around the ship. And the people at that Air Force base, the commander, had a meeting with the individuals that were aboard this ship. And this particular race that landed those ships and that are seen in these huge cigar-shaped ships, they are a black race. They look like African American. They were about 6'4", 6'5", huge weapons. And if you've ever seen a race of people that were conquerors, that had never been conquered, they've got this look about them of arrogance. That is exactly what these extraterrestrials had, and they informed these people at this American Air Force base that not only were they from a militaristic society, but they had control a large portion of the galaxy that we live in.
No more, man. So NASA decided that they want to bring out a message saying that these aliens that's supposed to be coming in 2 weeks, saying that they're going to be 7 foot tall and look like African American. Hey, get the fuck out of here. So said they might be hostile. Like these black people on this earth here ain't hostile already. In 2 weeks, that these so-called people coming down here, aliens, however you want to describe it, are going to be hostile. Okay, no, right? How the fuck, NASA? You tell me, how the fuck you know that these people are going to be hostile, and how the fuck you know that these people are African fucking American? Please tell me. And you going over there fucking with these people here, man. See, y'all need to stop fucking with them damn people out there, man. You know what I'm saying? Because for some reason, somebody communicating with these motherfuckers. How the fuck you know? There's no way you can look through your pussy-ass telescope and tell me, hey, yeah, da-da-da-da. It's some reason or somehow that you communicating with these people here. You know what I'm saying? Make it make sense. Well, y'all already sending shit about in the sky already. Y'all shooting rockets. You know what I'm saying? Y'all like little kids and little the sandlot. Y'all do the fuck y'all want to do. Y'all don't tell nobody. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't say shit. I know you going up there. I know y'all people up there fucking with the people. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? They on the outside looking in. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying a nigga don't believe in that type of shit, but I be looking up in the sky. I ain't gonna lie. I be seeing some fuck ass shit flying though. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I'm saying? Shit, I can't even comprehend what the fuck that is. You know what I'm saying? Shit.
All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, Bahashem, meaning in the name, Yahweh Shai, meaning He is our salvation. And that is who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, a so-called black man, who, by the way, only came for the Israelites. All right, which brings us to our discussion or topic this morning: 7 feet so-called African American aliens. All right, and what you saw was a collage of clips put together to convey a message. All right, that the people, particularly those of our kind, you know, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, are somewhat inquisitive about this so-called prediction by NASA that 7 feet aliens will be here in November, all right? The middle to end of November, beginning of December, all right? And they're inquisitive about that, all right? Although some skepticism, they're still inquisitive, okay? Because they know innate in their being, in their fiber, that they know that there's some truth to it, okay? That there is some interstellar galactic beings that's probing or monitoring the skies, and that they're coming here, all right? Whether it's in November or whether it's sometime later, they know intrinsically, deep in their fabric, in their beings, that there is some type of interstellar galactic beings that's probing the skies, all right? Whether they want to try to laugh it off or mock it or scoff at it, they know, all right? And hey, it's only a matter of time, man, all right, before they see the angels, all right? Because they're not aliens, they're angels that's probing or monitoring the skies, all right? And eventually, they're going to beam up the elect, all right? And then when we come down, some of the predictions that they made will be fulfilled, all right? We will look terrifying, all right? We're going to have that look of we conquer, all right? Because why? Yahweh Shai is coming to conquer, all right? He's that Lion of Judah, all right? He's going to be the head honcho, all right? And when we come down from the chariots, the so-called UFO, UAPs, we going to have that look of like we just coming to conquer, all right? Because we coming to take over the whole world, man, all right? And put you heathens in slavery, in chains, okay? This is the book of Psalms 110, and let's just jump straight to the point. Verse 3, it reads, "Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power." See, so we gonna get power, man, all right? We gonna have that power, like we gonna have a look like we've never been conquered, man. As it says in 1 Corinthians 15, you should be changed in the twinkling of an eye. When we change, we gonna have that look, that demeanor about us like we've never been conquered before in our life, man. Because we're gonna be in our full glory. All right. When Yahweh Shai returns and he swallows up death and he beams up his elect, we gonna come back down like they describe it, like that so-called white man that either worked for NASA or worked for NASA said they had a look upon them like they never been conquered. All right. Well, guess what? When we come down off those chariots, we going to have that same exact look like we never been conquered. All right? We going to be in our full glory. All right? With our leader, Yahushua, leading the charge. All right? And it goes into it how we're going to put feathers and chains on their nobles. All right? We're going to come and what? Dig them up out of their caves that preserve them from the missiles and other parts of the earth. Speaking of these elites, and we're going to put them in slavery. All right? We're going to have that look like we've never been conquered, man. All right? And we are going to be tall. All right? Yahushua is going to be the tallest of us, as it says in 2nd Ezra, which we're going to get. Ezra saw Yahushua stature being taller than the rest. All right? And that so-called white man said that at best, conservative, he would say they were about 7 feet tall. All right? So just imagine how tall they could have been. They could have been close to 8 to 10 feet. So imagine how tall Yahushua is going to be in stature. All right? Because he's going to stand out above the rest, as Ezra saw it in the what? In the chariots. So it says, thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power. See? And some of us brothers are going to get that power on this side, man. All right? The Lord is going to lift up a standard on this side, man. All right? And we're going to have that. Once we get that power, once the Spirit is turned up, the Holy Spirit is turned up in us, we're going to have that look about us, which you're going to see. Like, damn. You see? And you're going to know it's on, man. All right? And you see them women, you know, they jokingly saying, I can't wait to leave. You know, the last woman I showed had the little thing saying, I got my bags packed and ready to go. And then the first little chick, she was like, you know, she might have a little bit of mixture in her, you know, but it could be her father's an Israelite. You know, she said she can cook, she can clean. Guess what? That's going to be your role, man. See? When the power is exuberant, you have to get into line, man. All right? See, these women, they know. All right? They know power. See, they don't respect us now, man, because in our lower state, they deem and look at us as less than, you know, less than whatever. All right? But when we get that power, man, they're going to be willing. All right? And they're going to be willing to share us with multiple women. All right? See, right now, they don't fear us, man. All right? But see, when we come out of those ships, man, hey, it ain't going to be no talking, man. They going to know. All right? Our women going to know. They going to be in line. Because why? They going to be the ones that's going to be delivered here in Babylon the Great. They going to have already been put into place. Okay? See? Isaiah 4:1. Seven women should take hold of one man. 7 going into what? Completion. So a complete number of women is going to take hold to that one man. What? That Israelite man. What? That elect Israelite man. All right? And he's going to have that look upon him like he's never been conquered, man. All right? Because we're talking about a time like no ever. Jacob's trouble, man. All right? The Lord is going to lift up that standard, man. And the brothers that receive that power on this side, they're going to have that glow about them, that look about them, man. As if they never been conquered. But then when we all come out of the ships, man, collectively as the 144,000 to rule the earth with our Lord and Savior, Yahushua, being the number one in control, in charge, man, beginning with him, he definitely going to have that look. He's going to have that look of that Lion of Judah, all right? He's going to have that look of never being conquered, man. All right? So you right, all right? Tall, African-American, which they dark skin, man, all right? See, when we get changed in the twinkling of an eye, we're going to get all the glory back, all right? Those of us that are of a lighter hue, or those of us that don't have the hue, the melanin, we're going to be all changed, man, all right? We're going to all get that melanin back, all right? Those of our brothers that were stripped from their quote-unquote melanating powers because Esau, Edom, you know, has what? Through the years, you know, procreated with our people, man. All right? And the men that took hold of the women from Edom, which are Edomite women, you know, through that procreation, the offspring came out lighter, and down the line, even to the point that what? They started to favor the Edomites, all right? But if their father goes back to an Israelite, indeed, guess what? When they change in the twinkling of an eye, they're going to get their glory back. They're going to get their color back, all right? That melanin, okay? So you're right. We are going to have that look as if we've never been conquered, because after we come out of the ships, guess what? There's no one that's ever going to conquer us, okay? We in our lowest state right now, man. That's why women don't respect us. That's why we get the short end of the stick. And hey, it's coming to an end, man. All right? Prophecy is speaking, and it's coming to an end, okay? Let's go to that in 1 Corinthians 15, all right? Because when we come out of those ships, man, we're going to have that look upon us like, man, we ain't never been conquered, and we ain't never going to be conquered, all right? This is 1 Corinthians 15 and 50. It says, now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of the Most High, neither doth corruption inherit incorruption. See? So in our former state, in our current condition, we can't inherit the kingdom of the Most High, because why? This flesh is subject or prone to going off. So what's the answer or the remedy? Well, let's read it. It says 51, behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. See? So certain individuals of us on this side ain't going to taste death. All right? Certain of us aren't going to taste death on this side, man. We're going to be changed. Okay? And never to taste death. So what? So we can talk about it in the kingdom, man. All right? So guess what? If you are part of the transition and take part of the first resurrection, whereas the second death have no power on you, you're going to have that glow, that look about you that you've never been conquered. Because why? Through Yahushua, you was able to conquer death, man. And it doesn't get any bigger than conquering death, man. All right? It says, but we shall all be changed. This is when we hit the chariots, okay? It says, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye. It ain't going to take long, man. All right? We're going to be changed into those immortal bodies, man. It says, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. See? Those of us that have given our life for this ministry are going to be the first ones to be risen up to meet Yahushua in the clouds and the chariots for that change. And then those of us that are on the earth, all right, pursuant to, I believe that's 1 Thessalonians, all right, chapter 4 and right around verses 16. Yeah. 1 Thessalonians 4 and 16, for the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, that's that trumpet, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of the Most High, and the dead and the anointed shall rise first. See? Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, the chariots, which we're going to go into in 2nd Ezra, where the ceremony is taking place, and we get changed. And you see the statue of Yahushua, how tall he is, and you can see that the similarities of what this Edomite or so-called white man said has or holds some truth to the scriptures, man. It says, then we which are alive, verse 17, and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, the chariots, the so-called UFOs or UAPs, whatever this damn devil wants to classify them as, to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we be with the Lord. All right, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. All right, we're gonna have that conquering look, man, because we in our power, we in our glory, we with our Lord. All right, from the tribe of Judah. It says, wherefore comfort one another with these words. See, and this is what we're doing, man. We're telling you. All right, we're prophesying this. All right, telling you before it happens. Okay, let's go to that ceremony. in second Esdras, second chapter. Start at verse 42. This is second Esdras, chapter 2 and 42. It reads, I, Esdras, saw upon the Mount Zion a great people. This is the 144,000 in the elect, whom I could not number, right? Because it's an innumerable number, man. All right, you got the 144,000, 12,000 men from each tribe that's going to govern the earth, and then you got the innumerable number, okay? Men, women, and children, okay? And Ezra said he could not number. It says, and they all praised the Lord with songs. And in the midst of them, there was a young man of a high stature. This is speaking about Yahushua, all right? He's going to look young in his glory, man. Taller than all the rest. So the white man, or they said in the video, the clip, the so-called white man from NASA said that he saw these so-called African Americans looking to be about 7 feet, but could have been taller, but given a conservative estimation of 7 feet, come out the back of this chariot, this cigar-shaped looking chariot, and they had a look upon their faces as if they've never been conquered. So if they were conservatively 7 feet, that means Yahushua has to be 9 or 10 feet plus, man. Okay, imagine that, man. And he ain't gonna be no hunched over because his body can't, because you see these quote unquote giant men from the past that gotta walk with a cane because they 8 feet tall, they can't stand up straight. No, man. When you see Yahushua, he's gonna be that young man with a high stature and taller than the rest. He ain't gonna have no cane, okay? He ain't gonna be hunched over, man. All right, he's gonna be fearful. He's gonna be looking like he's never been conquered, because he isn't. He's coming to do the conquering. All right. It says, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, which I marvel at greatly. You see? So in the coronation, or the ceremony of us being delivered out of Babylon the Great and elsewhere throughout the earth, Yahushua is going to set crowns upon each and every one of our heads, man, which is a blessing. So I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? He answered and said unto me. So Ezra is asking the angel, what is these that he's seen? And the angel answered and said unto him, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing and put on the immortal. See, these are those of us that were delivered and saved and were changed in the twinkling of an eye, man. All right, because we can't come into the chariots, the so-called UFOs, in the current condition, our bodies that we're in. We have to be changed. It says, and put on the immortal, and have confessed the name of the Most High, Yahweh. Now are they crowned and receive palms. See, when we get that crown and we receive our palms, man, the looks that we're gonna have, man, we gonna have that look of never being conquered, man. Because when we come out of the ships, as John saw in Revelation, I'm gonna have to get that. All right, it's 18, but then it's another one that says, I saw new heaven I saw New Jerusalem come down from heaven. See, in Revelation 18, we were beamed up into the chariots. I heard a voice saying, Come out of her, my people. That was the elect being called up into the chariots. And then I believe in Revelation 20 or 21, it might be, or even 22, John saw New Jerusalem come down from heaven. All right. This is after the coronation, the ceremony. We come down from heaven. We have that look of never being conquered before. And then what? We go and conquer. All right. And we take over. All right. You see? So it says, So I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? He answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing and put on the immortal, and have confessed the name of the Most High, Yahweh. Now are they crowned, Yahweh, through the name of who? His only begotten Son, Yahushua. Now are they crowned and receive palms. Then said I unto the angel, What young person is it that crowneth them, and giveth them palms in their hands? So he answered, verse 47, and said unto me, It is the Son of the Most High, Yahweh, who is Yahushua, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord. Then the angel said unto me, Go thy way, and tell my people what manner of things and how great wonders of the Lord thy power thou hast seen. See? So Ezra wrote it down in the book, man, and we can see it. We can almost visualize it in our minds, in our heads, man. All right? But it's going to pale in comparison to when we act to, it's going to pale in comparison to when we actually behold it and take part of it. All right? This is Revelation 18. In verse 4. This is the elect being called up into the chariots, the chambers, as it says in Isaiah 26 and 20. Come up into thy chambers and hide thyself as it was for a while till the indignation pass over. It says, And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not her plague. See? So only the elect will receive that voice to be changed, as we read in 1 Corinthians 15 and 50, in the twinkling of an eye, to be changed, and to receive salvation in the chariot. Okay? Only the elect is going to hear that voice that say, Come out of her, my people, so that you be not partakers of her plagues, which is going to be what? That fire, that thermonuclear fire. Okay? So that's when you go to Isaiah 26 and 20, speaking on the chariots, the chambers, it goes into, it says, Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers. See? That's Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, calling the elect, all right? Up into the chambers, into the chariots, man. All right? You're going to get beamed up, and then you're going to be changed before you hit the chariot, all right? It says, And shut thy doors about thee, right? Then the doors are going to close, man, just like the days of Noah, when he went into the ark, and the ark was sealed, okay, with the chariot. Guess what? When we get closed up into the chariot, the doors are going to be sealed, and hey, that's it, man. All right, we all going to come into the fathership and take part of the ceremony, the coronation, and we're going to be crowned and receive palms in our hands, and we're going to celebrate that we got the victory over our enemy, Esau, Edom, the dragon, spoken of in Revelation, along with the other nations. And then we come down and we take these other nations into slavery, man. All right. It says, hide thyself as it were for a little moment until the indignation be overpassed, right? Until the missiles completely do its job here in America, man. All right. And it ain't going to take long, man. It's going to be an hour. Okay. As it says in Revelation 18. And then comes the part where we come down and have that look about us as if we've never been conquered, because from that point forward, we aren't going to be conquered. All right. Despite what individuals tell you that they're going to have people rise up against us in the kingdom, man, that's bull crap, man. Okay. Let's see if we can get that. Revelation 21 and verse 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. Right. This is going into us coming down and setting the earth back in order. Okay. Because the previous owner, Esau, Edom, the wicked, has fucked it up, man. So we got to come back and set it back in order, set it back in place, man. And it's going to take 1,000 years of hardcore slavery of these other nations to put them back in place, man. And then Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, pursuing the Obadiah 1 and 18, will be utterly destroyed by what? Fire. We're going to burn them up, man. Obadiah 1 and 18. So back to Revelation 21 and 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away. Right. That's speaking about World War III. All right. This man being taken out of rulership, out of power. 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. Esau is the end of this world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Well, this is the beginning of Jacob. That's following the end of this world, ruled by Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. And there was no more sea. All right. Sea goes into people, man. All right. Because there ain't going to be no more people here in Babylon the Great, man. All right. This place is going to be uninhabitable. no people, no life is going to be here in America anymore. It's going to be nothing but deserts. Fowls and creatures of the deserts are going to be the only inhabitable things that's here in Babylon the Great, America, the United States of America. Verse 2, and I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from the Most High out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. This is when we come out of the chamber. After we've been there for a little bit, we come back down out of the chamber and we take over, man. And we have that look about us that what? Like we've never been conquered. This is the look, the vision that Edomite, that white NASA saw, man. Okay? He saw the look of these beings as if they never been conquered. All right? And that's the look we're going to have on our face, because why? We coming to take the kingdom, man. Isaiah 25, or let's see. No, it's not Isaiah 25, although 25 and 8 goes into us getting the victory, where it says, he swallowed up death and victory, Yahushai, and the Lord power wiped away tears from off all faces, and the rebuke of his people shall take away from off all the earth, for Yahweh have spoken it. See, this goes into us getting the victory, but I actually want to go into us having that look as if we never been conquered, because when we come out of the chariots, out of the chambers, out of the so-called UFOs, we ain't going to be conquered. So give me 1 second while I Isaiah, it's in Isaiah, it's in the book of Isaiah, if I'm not mistaken, and it's something along the line of the saints shall take the kingdom, man. It's not the saints shall take the kingdom. See, Daniel 7? Man, I could have thought it was in Isaiah. So this is the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 18. It reads, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom. See, when you have that conquering look, you don't ask nobody to hand over the kingdom. You just take it, because why? You're exuberating all type of power coursing throughout your veins, all right? And we're going to have that power, man. We're not going to ask no Edomites, no Moabites, no Ammonites, no Hamites, no Elamites, no any nation of people to give us their kingdom. We're going to take it and double dog them to do something about it, man. So Daniel 7 and 18, but the saints who are Israelites, all right, you can read that in Psalm. You can read that in Psalm, is it 149? This goes into us taking the kingdom, but it might be 148. Yeah, Psalms 148 and 14. He also exalteth the horn of his people, the praises of all his saints, even of the children of Israel. Those are the saints, man, the children of Israel. A people near unto him, praise ye Yahweh. All right. And then what we going into Daniel 7 and 18 coincides with Psalms 149 and verse 7, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishment upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with feathers of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye Yahweh. See, so we take the kingdom and we put these other nations into what? Subjectivity, slavery, hardcore bondage for that 1,000 year to, get them familiar with the commandments, the law, statutes, and commandments, and then they're able to go back to their prospective land and what? Keep out the law, statute, commandments for the rest of their eternity. All right? It won't be no serving no damn Buddha or no Allah. It won't be serving no other power other than Yahweh through his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai. So now that we go back to Daniel 7, I was way off. I was in Isaiah. That's why you got to, sharpen your iron, man. Daniel 7:18, it goes into, but the saints, so we showed you who the saints are of the Most High, which are the Israelites, shall take the kingdom. See, we're going to take the kingdom. We ain't going to ask nobody. We're going to take the kingdom, man, and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. We're going to have slaves in the kingdom, man. We read it, Psalms 149. To bind up their kings and nobles with feathers and chains. We're going to have slaves in the kingdom. All right? Get used to it. All right? We're going to have concubines from other nations, man. Other women from other nations is going to be part of the kingdom. We're going to have concubines, man. Those of them that we deem to be appeasing to our eyes, we're going to take them and we're going to make them concubines. All right? Only those that we deem to be appeasing to our eyes, man. Edomites, Moabites, Ammonites, Hamites, different women from other nations, man. Only the best of their looking women we gonna take, man, and leave the other ones out there to do what? Field work and other type of trivial work, man. All right. So Ezekiel 1 goes into those angels that they call in aliens in their true form, man. All right. In their true form, they're not anything that you want to behold, man. This is Ezekiel 1, and we get ready to wrap it up. Where we at? Ezekiel 1 in verse 3. The word of Yahweh came expressly unto Ezekiel the priest, the son of Buzi, in the land of the Chaldeans by the river Chabar, and the hand of Yahweh was there upon him. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north. This whirlwind is this chariot, this so-called UFO, a great cloud in a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. So this chariot, it had an orb around it, had a aura around it. It says, also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance. So now we finna get the appearance of what the angels truly look like in their true form, okay? Because when they come down to earth, they can take the form of any other body, all right? Just go back to Lot, when the angels came down and they took the form of man, okay? So they can take the form of man, or they can appear in their true form, which Ezra saw. All right. It says, also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance. So this is how they looked. They had the likeness of a man. So they had a body like a man, like 2 legs and 2 arms, all right, and a torso. And everyone had 4 faces. And everyone had 4 wings. So they had 4 faces and 4 wings. And their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot. So you know how a calf's foot has that hoof like divide, like almost like a ninja foot, where you got the two hoofs and then you got a split in between. That's how they foot look. It says, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass. Okay, they were dark colored. They were dark skinned. All right, this is why he said they looked like African Americans. All right, because they were dark colored. All right. It says, and they had the hands of a man under their wings on their four sides. So they had hands. All right. And they four had their faces in their wings. Their wings were joined one to another. So imagine that. Each wing was joined one to another. All right. They turned not when they went every one straight forward. See? So and they're traveling through the galaxy, they don't need to turn, man. When they in the UFOs and chariots, they can pretty much teleport. All right. When they in the chariots, the chambers, and the UFOs, they can teleport, man. And we gonna have that same capability, man. We gonna be able to teleport in the chariots and go explore different galaxies and universes. As it says in John 14:2, in my Father's house are many mansions, man. All right, so there's many planets we're going to be able to cultivate and explore and put slaves and have them do work on our planets, man. It says, their wings were joined one to another. They turned not when they went every one straight forward. As for the likeness of their faces, they four had the face of a man. So they had intelligence and the face of a lion. See, that's that face that he saw as if they never been conquered. All right, like Yahushua is going to have. On the right side, and they had, Slakia, they four had the face of a man and the face of a lion on the right side. And they four had the face of an ox on the left side, so representing strength. They four also had the face of an eagle, representing grace, man. All right, swiftness. Okay, this is not an entity that you want to see in its true form. All right, it's going to be petrifying for a lot of people, man. Terrifying. It says, thus were their faces, and their wings were stretched upward. Two wings of everyone were joined one to another, and two covered their bodies, man. This is something that if you saw in your natural eye, you would not want to, it would completely make you shit yourself, man. Especially at night where there's no lights, and you see this tall figure with wings and four faces, man, coming down your way. Man, come on, man. And they went everyone straight forward. Whether the spirit was to go, they went. And they turned not when they went. They don't need to turn, man. Just think about that. They could teleport. No need to turn, man. That's for the mass, for the lane. We need to turn here. They don't have to turn, man. They could teleport. See? They're not subject to our physics, man. Well, we have to walk straight and then we have to turn right. No, they could just bam, teleport, man. It says, as the likeness, 13, as for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire, and like the appearance of lamps, it went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning, man. So, man, to see these creatures, these entities in their true form, it'll scare the shit out of you, man. All right? It'll scare the shit out of you, man. All right? I don't mean to say that word shit, but, man, I got to emphasize on the severity of if you see these creatures in their true form, man. It's nothing like you've ever beheld, man. Verse 14, and the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning. Damn. not only can they teleport, but they can move as fast as lightning, man. Now, as I beheld the living creatures, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creature with his four faces. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of a beryl, and they four had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. That's the Ezekiel wheel that you may or may not have heard, man. That's how the chariots can move, man. And they can move in all directions, in all angles, man. That's why this devil don't stand a chance, man. When the angels show up and they try to fight against the Lord, these devils is going to be mincemeat, man. They ain't going to stand a chance, man. All right? So we going to close up and go to 1 Peter 5 and 8. I believe the point was made, that, hey, the angels, hey, they going to have that conquering look, man. All right? They going to have it. They have it, all right? But speaking on us, because we angels too, man. We just in the physical flesh, all right? But when we come down out of the chariots, we're going to have that look as if we never been conquered, because from that point forward, we never are going to be conquered. So this is 1 Peter 5 and verse 8. It reads, be sober, be vigilant. See? Oh, yeah. Just in case, what's that? It might be in the book of Acts. Pour out my flesh. This is Acts 2 and 17. It reads, and it shall come to pass in the last days, saith the Most High. So are we not in the last days of this man's rulership, Esau, Edom? Of course we are. It says, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, including Edomites, all right? So this man who had what? This vision of seeing these, or claimed to have seen these beings from where he deems another galaxy with the look of never being conquered, is part of prophecy, man. And you have others as well have claimed to have seen so-called black men, all right? Whether it's a vision or whether they claim to have seen it in person, all right? Because who knows if what they saw was actually in-person experience, or was it that they were so convinced it was an in-person experience, but it was a vision, all right? Either way, the Lord is going to pour out his spirit on all flesh, all right? I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old man shall dream dreams, okay? So you got brothers that got children that's had visions, and this is the time that we in, man, because the Lord is getting ready to make himself known, man. He's already starting to do it through his servants, the prophets, but he's really finna start making himself known by the way of what? Miracles and judgments and things of that nature, okay? So 1 Peter 5 and 8 is telling us to do what? 1 Peter 5 and verse 8 is telling us to do what? Be sober, be vigilant. Now is not the time to take things lightly, man. Now it's not the time to think, man, hey, we've been hearing things like this since the beginning of civilization. But we never been this close. See? This is what you feeling to realize. We never been this close to the end before. All right. So now these things actually have a lot more validity behind it. So it says, be sober, be vigilant. Why? Because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. He don't want you prepared and being ready to meet our Lord and Savior in the clouds, in the sky. All right. He wants you out here lollygagging around, taking shit lightly and taking things as a joke, man. So he can destroy you and you don't have no hedge or protection around you. All right. So you've been warned through the power of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, through his servants and prophets, to get your shit and get yourself together, man. Get your act together. All right. So be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Okay. So with that being said, pray someone was edified through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We almost home. Shalom. Peace.